If you talk to anyone who lives in Bangalore, you talk about, hey, what is your biggest issue? Apart from their boyfriend, girlfriend, spouses, etc., they will say, oh, this is traffic. I hate this traffic.
You've had quite a journey through the whole startup maze, I would call it. You were in InMobi, you've worked on quite a few ideas, you've done the corporate bit with City, and then how did you land on the idea of Yulu?
During my journey with InMobi, I thought I would be retiring at the age of 40.
Retiring at the age of 40. Okay.
And as I was approaching 40, started thinking that what does it mean? And the idea was not going really, really well.
Sir, hota hai. When you have that hunger and that appetite,
Yeah.
when it's no longer just about the money.
Yeah, it was actually never about the money. My journey when we started in Mobi office in that outer ring road area used to take close to 8 to 9 minutes from my home, and that started becoming 15 minutes, half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes. So I thought, maybe this is a problem I should be working with.
Give us the elevator pitch.
Sure.
What is Yulu and why is it important?
85% people in India do not have vehicle of their own. They don't have driving license. Other side of the business is now the gig worker. Today, from a revenue perspective, it is almost 90% plus.
Urban mobility. It seems like a no-brainer. When you have so many people in the larger cities in India struggling in traffic, pollution issues, the idea of a company that helps people travel in an eco-friendly way seems like an idea that was waiting to happen. Yet, nearly 8 years later, Yulu is one of the few companies, or perhaps the only one, that is actually in this space. So, why this idea and how will this be causing a disruption? To speak on this, I'm pleased to invite Amit Gupta to the episode today. Amit, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Tamanna. It's a pleasure to be with you in this show.
Okay, tell me about the idea of Yulu, because you've had quite a journey through the whole startup maze, I would call it. You were in InMobi, you've worked on quite a few ideas, you've done the corporate bit with City, and then how did you land on the idea of Yulu?
Yeah, so call it the entrepreneurship journey, which certainly started with InMobi. And as you know, things were going very, very well. And even my InMobi journey started with some promise of mine with myself that at the age of 30, I should be on my own. So InMobi happened. There was no logic why InMobi and why that point of time. And during my journey with InMobi, I thought I would be retiring at the age of 40.
Retiring at the age of 40. Okay.
You see all of those crazy stories of plenty of successful people. And back then, 10 years are good enough. So 40 years milestone sounded good. And as I was approaching 40, and the whole promise to myself and to my wife that, 40 years, everything is done, dusted, we'll have chill life. Started thinking that what does it mean? And the idea was not going really, really well. So a vacation for a week is okay, but vacation for life, that too early. And then started asking myself, what is one thing I don't do today? When I'm 50, I'll regret. And this whole feeling about that, hey, you have to still do something truly big, not for yourself, but for the others. And if you talk to anyone who lives in Bangalore, you talk about, hey, what is your biggest issue? Apart from their boyfriend, girlfriend, spouses, etc., they will say, oh, this is traffic. I hate this traffic. So that's how the idea of Yulu came into picture, where my journey when we started in Mobi office in that outer ring road area, if you're familiar with Bangalore, used to take close to 8 to 9 minutes from my home. And that started becoming 15 minutes, half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes. And sometime I'll say, okay, I'm not even going. I'll take a U-turn, go back to home. So that's how situation of traffic started deteriorating. And then you hear the horror stories of air pollution, AQI going to the roof. In Delhi, even in Bangalore, people don't talk about it, but our air quality is also bad. So I thought, maybe this is a problem I should be working with. So while things were going really well within Mobi, my last 2 years within Mobi, I developed another product called Glance, You might have seen there's a content platform on lock screen, which became very, very also big. And so, but at the same time, myself was okay. If I don't do this, this is the time. So that's how Yulu got started.
Yeah.
It started with a
I just
pain
wa-
point.
I just want to hit that pause before we go to the rest of the story and come back to a part which you mentioned that you wanted to retire at 40,
Yeah,
and then when you were approaching 40 you said, what will I do with all of my time? I don't know, maybe your wife said, please don't come sit at home right
maybe,
now.
maybe that also
No.
fear actually worked out well.
But now
That please go.
the point I want to come in on is कि अक्सर होता है at the start of your career.
Yeah,
A lot of people feel, oh, this drudgery and how long will it go, and let me just make enough money to sit back and then retire. But it never happens. I see this in story after story. So just talk a little bit more about that when you have that hunger and that appetite,
yeah,
when it's no longer just about the money.
yeah. It was actually never about the money.
Yeah.
And this is truth, by the way.
No, but if you want to
No,
retire at 40, then you
so
need the money to do it.
so thankfully, enough money for me to not worry about money. So yeah, it was not about money. Even with it, in Mobi days, at least come from the mindset that whatever you have, you try to set up yourself. Don't get into the other side where you are under debt and so on. So I remember I bought my first house in Bangalore, and it was less than 15 lakh. Uh, I come from actually well-to-do family, but I just like any other kid. Okay, Papa, I don't need your money. I'll
Was
take care.
was there a family business?
Yes.
Was
So
was there any pressure to ever join it?
always. So I always dodge that question. Just similar to when are you getting married, when you're having your kids. So you have those pressures, and I dodge all of the questions. So especially when are you coming back? And I grew up in Kanpur. So every phone call, every month, you will have this question. And I'm like, okay, give me one more year. I'll come back. I'll come back. And that day never happened. And thankfully, I think my parents also accepted after a point of time that this guy is not going to come back. So let's not waste time. Um, but the negotiation was okay, at least get married. So fine. There was a trade off. Okay. So I got married pretty early in my career. And but I think that was a good. I enjoy it. I think I'm thankful to my partner who has been with me and really really supporting me in this journey. Uh, Coming back, so this whole piece uh, that you have to do something, that was a urge, and it was not about money, and kind of learn to live with whatever resources means I had.
It's not easy to do that.
Yeah, it is not easy.
It's not easy when you know you have the fallback, you always have the cushion. In fact, you have the pressure to go back to a very set path. And you say that I will not go back to Kanpur. I will try and build this business that no one else has ever done in Bengaluru. Your very close friends and family must be thinking, why? What is wrong with this guy?
Actually, very real. My parents, my father particularly, when I first of all did not even tell him that I've left this job which was really high paying and doing something on my own. And back then 2006, it was not a known phenomenon of you're doing some kind of startup.
It was not
And
cool.
call it cool, call it, and a lot of my friends and relatives must be thinking that something has gone wrong with this guy. But I'm like, fine, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And after my parents visited me in Bangalore, and they saw that he's doing something real, whether he's getting paid or not, how much, no one cared, but they knew that I am happy and I'm like working hard. And back then, who understood mobile internet, right? A small little phones, they will only use it to call someone, and I'm talking about building something on top of it. It was an alien concept. So it took us some time for them to understand that what I am doing, why I'm doing. So you're right, it was not easy.
Yeah, yeah. Let's come back. Let's come back to the Yulu journey. One is the personal journey of, getting your friends and family to understand your passion as an entrepreneur. The other one is to get investors on board. And so, with an idea like Yulu, you want to build a low-cost, environmental-friendly mobility solution. First, you need the bike. then you need the permissions, then you need the place where to put it, and then you need someone to entrust you with money in it. Perhaps not in that order.
And you're right, actually, it was not easy. More importantly, when you talk about building anything in India, where you have to do all of the hard work, money does not come very easily. uh, Typically a mindset of VCs, if I may use that word, because there are different types of financial institution investor. But in the beginning, you need a venture
VCs.
capital money.
Yeah.
So for them, when everything is already set, you just have to connect some pipes and you start making money. So that is a business model they really really adore. Uh, but unfortunately, when everything is broken, you're trying to build a category, then the journey cannot be easy. So no journey is easy and quick when you have to build something from the grounds up, and that's not something which is very suitable for venture capital money, because they have a fund life, as you know. They have to return the capital back to their LPs in 8 to 10 years. And when you think that, hey, I will take another 10 to 15 or 20 years, that's not something which that suits them.
So, were the first few pitches very tough when you came
So
in with this story?
luckily for Yulu, I must say that I was privileged one, coming from InMobi background.
So, the bet was on you
So
because of the
actually,
pedigree of
look at
Innovi.
any investor, good investor, their bet is always on the founder, because your first pitch deck, what you're trying to say and you're trying to do, always changes. It was true for InMobi when we were M Coach, and then business model pivoted to InMobi. Yulu was no different. Our first product was bicycle, and we were saying we'll put millions of bicycles in every part of the country. That did not work. In 6 months we realized that no one gonna pedal the bike to office coming sweaty. So from our funding perspective, since you asked this question, we were able to raise $7 million in a seed capital 8 years back, when the seed round used to be couple of million. So initial money was easy, but then the second series, which is Series A, uh, I go talk to all VCs, they're all friends, but the business model will not work. So while we were again lucky to have some interest from VCs, but then we realized that this journey, if I take this money, what next will I do? Okay, I have to go to some OEM who can make my bike. The problem was, do I know what I need? Answer was no. So rather than we trying to go find out a vendor who can make this bike for me, we needed a vision partner. And that's where my meeting with Mr. Rajiv Bajaj was very special, where met him, told him that this is a problem we are trying to solve. And he got very excited about the vision and the future and the role which Bajaj can potentially play. And we are one of the very rare companies which Bajaj actually has invested into. So KTM is one company they've invested. And I think barring KTM and Yulu, I have not heard many companies. So they are not like a financial investor,
Yeah.
but they came in, they knew what role they have to play, what role Yulu has to play. We got capital, we got a very, very good partner who can actually help us build this company. So our capital approach was very different than most of them,
Yeah.
startups in the
Yeah, so,
ecosystem.
so for those who are not very sure what the company is, and of course, a lot of our viewers would have seen the Yulu bikes
Yeah,
parked in various parts of the cities and largely large cities. Give us the elevator pitch.
sure.
What is Yulu and why is it important?
Sure. So if you look at India, 85% people in India do not have vehicle of their own. They don't have driving license. And we believe that mobility is such a fundamental thing. For you and I, we have to go to office. But at the same time, we also saw one more customer segment. For them, mobility was the only way they can earn money, aka delivery person or service professional. So we saw this opportunity really, really amplifying at the time of COVID, where we are all grounded. We needed our food, our vegetables, our medicines, and we needed to click a button and something can come up. So we saw an opportunity to build or fix this problem of access to mobility, where anyone can come, can go to their office trouble without any trouble in a sustainable manner, as you rightly mentioned. And for us, answer was not the car. Answer was not even taxis for that matter. because when you come in the taxi, you're taking the same amount of space on the road, which is very limited in our country. So we thought of this problem solution only through public transportation integration. So we want everyone to use metro, buses, carpools, by the way. And then the problem of first mile, last mile, we thought, this is probably the best way for us to take someone to a metro, and then they can do the mid mile, the long one, and then when they get their destination, maybe they can walk or they can again take a Yulu. So that was the idea behind the
So
whole solution.
Yulu is a mode of transport you use,
Yes.
a two-wheeler. It runs only, the speed limit is 25 kilometers
Yes.
per hour. You don't have to own it. You don't have to rent it. You just pay at that point and then you take it and you dock it, right?
So we have two type of users now. The one you articulated very correctly, that this is a pay as you go. So you pick up Yulu next to your home. We have aiming to create that Yulu zone, what we call the parking area. Uh, every major apartment complexes, shopping areas, offices. So you just basically are 300 to 400 meters away from that. So you go pick up the Yulu bike, scan the QR code on the bike opens, it is yours. And typically we users use it for 20 to 25 minutes. They drop it next to their destination, click a button, everything gone, and you are just good to go, just like your Uber experience, right? But the other side of the business is now the gig worker, where they come, they pick Yulu once again, but they keep it with themselves for longer period of time. So typically they keep it for 3 to 4 weeks in one go, and then there's a whole battery swapping that comes with that. So these are the two modes where our business is being right now used.
And what is the portion of the gig worker, 3 to 4 weeks longer tenure
Yeah.
usage of the business
So
right now?
today, from a revenue perspective, it is almost 90% plus.
Oh, so that is the
It
primary
is the
business.
now bread and butter. It used to be zero, but COVID exposed this beautiful opportunity for us. And financially, we thought that's far more rewarding, because the asset sweating, if the word we call in our business model. So for the moving people use case, they typically use it for 15 to 20 kilometer per day. So the bike changes hands 4 to 5 times per day. But for the gig worker, they typically use for 80 kilometers per day.
Right.
So almost 4 times. And if the bike is used for 4 times, then the economic goodness that comes along with that is far better.
So the rentals on it are higher. So then what happens to the original dream about decongesting traffic and giving people an option for last mile and first mile travel?
Yeah. So that has not gone for sure. That's the reason we still have almost 10% of our bikes dedicated for that business model. And we are planning to scale it again, most likely next year. Whole idea was that we should achieve certain profitability milestones. So we have been EBITDA profitable, uh, and then the next
Since
milestone.
this financial year?
Yeah, so we hit positive EBITDA few months last financial year, but this financial year we have been EBITDA profitable from almost day one. And idea is that we will hit profitability on the EBIT front, which is also kind of taking our depreciation in our business is important.
What is the top line looking like right now?
So we have not talking about the current numbers, but last financial year we were doing close to 30 million ARR.
That's for FY24. Okay. Just in terms of the mobility solution for gig workers,
Yeah.
is there a lot of competition coming in from Chinese-made vehicles right now? What is the kind of market share there? Because that has just been an explosion, right? And it's a very crucial part of our economy because it's also employment generating. It gives autonomy to a lot of people on how many hours they want to work, where they want to work. What is the competitive landscape looking like there?
Sure. So let me break down this question into two parts. One is on the vehicle itself, and second one is the business model. Now let's talk about the vehicle first of all. So we are not selling vehicle, just to be very clear. We are a mobility as a service company. So imagine Uber, which is a mobility as a service company, and then you have Ford, GM, Toyota, who are the car manufacturer. If I talk about the first problem, which is what is the landscape looking like from a Chinese made e-bikes in our country, whether a person is buying it or Yulu buying it, I'll come to that in a moment. But what is the future of a Chinese made bike in our country? I would say it is not very promising. It's not very bright. Reason being, our country, automobile contributes to a lot of our GDP. It actually provides a lot of employment opportunity. So this sector actually is a very important sector for the country. And I will not say that our government has done anything to curb it down, but they have rather incentivizing Indian production.
No,
So
I'm just saying this in the back of
I'm
what you
just
see on the road. You see a lot of
I'm
Chinese made
I'm
bikes.
coming to that, right? So forget my business model. But if you look at the two-wheeler side, look at the top four players. Who are the top four players in the two-wheeler side? Bajaj, TVS, Ether, and Ola. There, none of them are actually doing anything Chinese. Everything is done in India. There's a dependency on China with respect to the cell which is coming, because we are not making the cell at the moment, and maybe a little bit of electronics here and there. But India two-wheeler market, 80% of it is dominated by these four players. No Chinese, right? So on the road, if you look at the business, the bikes, it is primarily made in India. They are Indian bikes. So as far as Chinese bikes are concerned, they're coming on the lowest end, and
No, no, but
basic.
I'm not conflating. You're conflating entire two-wheeler space. I'm
Yes,
talking about the e-bike segmentation, the segment in which your product is.
yeah. So yes, so I'm coming to that. Now talk about the my segment, which is a e-bike which goes low speed.
Yes,
None of these four players actually have a product for someone like us, except for Bajaj, who has made exclusively for Yulu.
correct.
So, in a sense, you're right. There are a lot of Chinese made electric bikes which someone can take and do the delivery or go for the small commute. But if you now come to my business model, where the competition is not about the scooter, it's not about the bike,
It's about the
it's
renting
about
it, the
it's about the
service.
business model and the infrastructure. So when we basically give our bikes to a gig worker, we are not giving or renting a bike. We are giving the entire mobility as a service. It includes the bike, it includes the battery swapping stations, it includes repair maintenance and insurance. So when we give this service, it's a absolutely hassle-free, trouble-free, and the highest uptime product. So if it is your own product, then you will have a lot of challenges in downtime. Where will you charge? How will you maintain it? We take care of that. Now layer this with a Chinese made bike. If it is a low quality Chinese made bike, the bike will actually have a lot of breakdowns. And our business model is all about durability, predictability, and so on. So if someone wants to start a Yulu with a cheap bikes, let me not frame China here, but let's say very cheap type of bikes,
Yeah.
then their business model will not work,
What is, so let me
because
come
they
back to
will
my
have
core
lot
question.
of.
What is the market share you have
Sure.
right now?
So we have, if I look at only the rental space, in our kind of business model, we have actually 70% plus market share uh, uh, in the country. So we are the largest one. We have 45,000 bikes. There is no one who will have even more than 1,000 bikes in the country. So we have leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else.
You talked about 45,000 vehicles on the road. What is the roadmap? To what does this number grow? Now that you've got your target one out of the way, you no longer want to retire at 40. You wanted to you
50?
you want I don't know. Have you hit that
I don't know.
milestone or
I,
not?
I don't say 50 is a retirement age, but yes, I think within next 2 to 3 years, when I become 50, I will try to get Yulu to some good milestone for sure.
Okay, so now that's the good milestone. So let me put it that way. What is the milestone for Yulu in the next 2 to 3 years, coinciding with your half
So
century?
clearly, next financial year, we will be PBT positive, and we believe by end of next year we will be kind of an IPO ready state, where company is thriving, market leadership, good volume, profitability, and almost the hockey stick jump. What is constraining us today is the access to capital, which is non-dilutive. So we can raise a lot of capital, but we don't want to keep on raising equity capital. So we need to get to that state of the business where we are just generating cash, and that's where we say, okay, now go. So depending on how large is quick commerce and quick service, industry, which we are by the way very bullish about,
Yes.
we see a hockey stick jump for us. And
So will the IPO come first or this PBT break
PBT
even?
has to come first for our
Right.
business model, which is not too far. So I think tough to say because there are so many things related to IPO. You have to time it. There's a lot of alignment, and but from a board perspective, where we have Magna and Bajaj, both companies are very supportive of Yulu going public. They themselves are like long-lasting organization. Both of them are public, so they are supportive of that. We think that that's the right thing for us as well. If we want to see this company beyond us, living beyond all of us, all the founders, then we should make that as an institution.
What is that one milestone or dream that you have for Yulu?
Yeah. So on a professional front, uh, clearly, we think what we started when we started Yulu, we saw cities breathing. We are breathing clean air. There's no sound pollution, like no one is just hanging, uh, and almost like everyone is moving in a very frictionless manner. And while that portray picture of that is very, always you dream of that, I think we have a long way to go. But now we started seeing the trace. When we see, particularly when you move around to certain areas of Mumbai or Bangalore, every minute you see 3 4 Yulus. It's very heartening. Although the use case is that someone is trying to get your food or your grocery, but it's just matter of time where a lot of such commercially running vehicle will have something related to Yulu. I'll give you one statistics. Almost 10% of vehicles in India, they are used in commercial setting. This 10% are attributed to 70% of the miles which are kind of running. So if we get ourselves into that 10% vehicles, it can be two-wheeler, three-wheeler,
Yeah.
whatever wheeler, then we can actually make a two-third of the impact. And that's where,
You
in
want to
some
expand
shape or form,
beyond two-wheelers?
certainly, why not? So we do see a word of Yulu. So for example, with our sister entity called Yuma, they've started, by the way, supporting battery as a service for e-rickshaws. For as long as there's a value addition from our side, we can get something out of that. We would like to participate.
Okay,
So we
so
see Yulu everywhere.
here's to a future of cleaner mobility, which is environment friendly. Thank you so much, Amit. It's been an
Thank you,
absolute
Tamanna.
pleasure.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.